Riverside. Hello, and welcome back to TheSadFan, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made you sad. And as you know, we're a weekly show, so we go week by week, and we're going to miss some things, so we apologize. But this episode is heavy on the NBA. So NBA trigger alert right away. And we're going to start with a subject that Wes loves to hate, the Golden State Warriors. So Wes, news out of Golden State, Draymond Green turned down his player option, and you have thoughts.
Westradamus called it. Draymond Green is not going to be on the Warriors in 2024, 2023, 24. It's weird. Like, I hate him, but I also wouldn't have mind if he stayed on there because they would have been terrible and he would have been cancer for another year.
Why do you presume he's cancer? Just everyone is like he's cancer just because of the the Jordan Poole punch, and
he's an asshole. That's why.
This is my reason, because
he's an asshole.
There was a lot of him getting blamed for the Kevin Durant exit going to Brooklyn. I don't think that that's true. I think that's all narrative building, and
true.
I don't necessarily know that he's done in Golden State. Remember, he is $90 million. $90 million. And the team was so weak off the bench this year. Oh, he's going to get a lot of money. He's going to get one of those
$5,000.
He's going to get one of those Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul contracts that he's going to age out of course. But somebody's going to
useless veterans that don't live up to their contract.
Somebody's going to pay him. You don't see somebody paying him?
Not that much.
What about LA?
No. LA doesn't want him. They know he's cancer.
No, LA absolutely wants him. LeBron has been trying to recruit him.
Not anymore.
This is the stance
everyone knows he's garbage now. Everyone knows he's garbage. He's a cancer.
I think still advanced
Somebody's
analytics.
Going to pay him veterans minimum.
I think advanced analytics still state that he's one of the best defensive players in the NBA. So you can't discount that. You need that. And on a lot of teams, they need defense. And in this NBA, that's rare to have a player so great at defense. A lot of people believe that's one of the reasons why the Miami Heat were able to make it as far as they did, is because they had Jimmy Butler, they had Bam Adebayo, who are great defensive players, and they were able to turn it on in the postseason. So I can see him getting a good contract.
He's not that great.
The one I worry about is Jordan Poole, because Jordan Poole is under contract. Jordan Poole has a couple years left on a very, very, very expensive contract that he did not live up to. So he may not be a veteran player that's not living up to his contract, but he's not living up to his contract at all. We gave him a bag last year after the championship, and he was really, 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 really bad this year. But I think a lot of teams...
Draymond Green's not there. I think he's going to be a lot better this year.
You really think he's like a big bully? Like Jordan Poole, 6'2", Jordan Poole, 6'3", Jordan Poole is in the hallway like, oh, I can't do well because Draymond Green might punch me again. Like, do you really think that's what it is?
Yeah.
What if Jordan Poole, what if Draymond Green was right about Jordan Poole?
Imagine you had to live with a guy who sucker punched you and was a complete D-bag all the time. Imagine you had to work with him.
You're being so hyperbolic.
Bad environment.
How do you know he's a D-bag all the time?
I've had to work with one of those, okay? I worked with a guy in the Air Force that I did not like. I did not get along with at all. Luckily, I was on a different shift than him most of the time, but when I did...
Go on. If you're equating the Jordan Poole Draymond Green relationship to this...
I don't want to be on the plane with him.
With the Warriors, you keep saying they're done. Why do you believe they're done?
Because they're getting old. I mean, they might be a little better without Draymond Green, but they're done. There's teams that are better than them.
Well, there are teams that are better than them, and the Nuggets looked great.
They're not
in this run.
They're not trash, but they're not amazing anymore. So Yeah. They're going to be...
So
they're probably going to be the same place that they were this year, like fighting for like a 6th, 7th, 8th seed.
I think they need a big man to pair with Kevon Looney, and I think that they need another offensive player if Jordan Poole's not going to work out. And I think that Jordan Poole contract can be a nice piece to move around. I think you were saying this in the production meeting that you think Jordan Poole is going to be really great once he's not on the team. Yeah. And I didn't disagree with you, but not for the same reasons. Why do I think Jordan Poole is going to be great on another team? Because I think if he's on a team where he's the star, his usage rate is going to go way, way, way up. And I think that was the case with Bradley Beal, who went over to the Suns recently for Chris Paul.
Transition.
And Chris Paul is, I think, one of the most tragic stories ever in the NBA for a really great player. How many teams has he played on? All of them?
A lot. And he's never won a championship.
And that's what he was chasing, and probably his best chance was in Phoenix, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, he's 38 years. Let's see what teams he's played on. Let's see: Hornets, Clippers, Rockets, Thunder, Suns.
I guess the Rockets was a good opportunity for him, but he didn't like James Harden's work ethic. The reports came out of that camp that he was not a fan of James Harden's work ethic. There was also the issue
Clippers
of they were
a good team too.
There's also the issue that he was running into the Warriors at the peak of the Warriors' powers, right?
Yeah.
So he's running into a dynasty, and he can't do anything. And who did you just say was really good too?
The Clippers, when he was on.
Yeah, Lob
Blake
City.
Griffin? Yeah.
Lob City. DeAndre, Blake, Chris Paul. Like, that team was good, but guess who they were running into?
Same
the
team.
Warriors. The Warriors at the height of their power. Or the Warriors were that young dynasty. So he's just had a run of bad luck. He's basically like Patrick Ewing. When Patrick Ewing just was running into all these great players when he was on the Knicks and they could never get it done, right?
Yeah.
Or Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley's a great comp. I know they don't play the same position, but Charles Barkley, one of the best players in NBA history, never got a championship. Why? Because he's running into Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan. Yeah, he's just running into like these great teams. Like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do?
Wait, did they play the Bulls in the finals?
No. Yes, 1 year with the Suns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he never played the Bulls in the finals with 76ers or the Houston Rockets. But again, like, he's one of the
Was Charles
best.
On the Rockets?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
He played on the Rockets with Scottie Pippen.
I just must not have been paying attention to the NBA that year. Jesus. I do not remember that at all.
As you look that up, look up Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, Rockets. I just think, I'll talk about the Suns. I don't think the Suns are now a championship contender like everybody's saying. I just don't believe the Suns are going to be a championship contender because all of a sudden they get another offensive weapon. I think that what they needed was someone like Chris Paul, a ball distributor, a floor general, and that's not what Bradley Beal is. Now, granted, when you have Chris Paul, you have to compensate for him being hurt all the time. But I don't see this as a game changer. They're not going to compete with the Nuggets. The Nuggets have a floor general in Nikola Jokic. So now they have Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon, who are all fantastic players, and you're going to come at them with 3 offensive players. It's just not going to work out. They're still not as good as the Denver Nuggets in Phoenix. So that whole Phoenix in 4 guy, it's over. That was the year that Phoenix needed to win the championship.
Yeah.
The window has closed.
That was the year that Steph Curry was injured, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Warriors missed the playoffs. They were the number 1 seed, I think. They swept the Nuggets. They made it to the finals. Who did they lose? It was the Bucks, right?
They lost to the Giannis Antetokounmpo Bucks. And guess who else was injured in that series? Giannis Antetokounmpo. Remember, he got hurt in game 1? Somebody fell on his knee and his knee bent weird and he came back somehow.
That was
by some miracle.
That was their year and they squandered it.
They did. That was the Suns' championship year. They lost it. And now Giannis Antetokounmpo gets to go down as one of the best players ever in the NBA. And the Suns don't get to be that great team that they were that year. It's wild to me. Did you find that Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen Rockets team?
Yeah, 98, 99. I was 10 years old. I'm not going to remember that.
I was 10 years. But it's crazy, right? To think that those two were on a team together.
Yeah.
I think that's wild. But yeah, Scottie Pippen and Charles Barkley played together on the Rockets at the end of their career, and they didn't win anything. They didn't win
No,
anything. You know why?
because they were both past their prime.
Yes, it was over. It was game over. And then this is, I think that's the start of the beginning of the San Antonio Spurs dynasty. Correct me if I'm wrong. What year did Tim Duncan get drafted in? Can you pull that info for me really quick? Because I do believe that was the beginning of that Spurs dynasty getting to
That
get
was like
built.
middle 90s, I think.
And that's also Kobe Bryant, Shaq powers as well, right? So Charles Barkley never stood a chance. You got MJ winning all the championships in the 90s, and then the Rockets come in with Akeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, Duncan was drafted in 97.
Yeah.
They won 99, 03, 05, 07.
So yeah, the beginning of the Lakers and Spurs dynasties. Charles Barkley never stood a chance. Poor guy, one of the best players ever, never stood a chance because he comes in during the height of Michael Jordan's powers, and then he runs into Kobe Bryant, the next Michael Jordan, getting drafted by the Lakers, teaming up with another Phil Jackson coach team and Shaquille O'Neal, and it was just over. Now, we just mentioned a player by the name of Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks winning a championship, squandering the Suns' one chance, and he was teamed up with a pretty good player there who just opted out. Kris Middleton just opted out, and I think it's going to be interesting to watch where he goes, and that's all I have to say about that, everyone. So if you were waiting for the Bucks news out of Milwaukee, you're not getting it. Let's move to a story that people care about. Sorry, Kris Middleton, no offense. Ja Morant got 25 games, and you feel like that's a lot. You feel like it was going to be less?
Yeah, for like something where he didn't like do anything illegal, or it's not something like he was gambling like on games or like just something stupid, I feel like it was kind of a lot. Like you said, I feel like he got suspended for being stupid.
Yeah, and we said that a couple episodes ago that he if he gets suspended, it's going to be for being dumb, for doing a dumb thing. Because you had a conversation with Adam Silver about, hey, don't do anything dumb. We're going to say you went to therapy, which he obviously didn't. We're going to put you on with Jalen Rose. Don't make an ass out of yourself, which he obviously did. and then it's the playoffs. Just don't get in trouble. And then he did that.
Was he suspended by the NBA or by Memphis?
So he was suspended by Memphis originally while he was meeting with the NBA, and then the NBA suspended him for 25 games.
Okay.
In agreement with the players' union. So everyone agrees, hey, we need to get this guy suspended right now for these reasons, and it's probably for his own good. He needs help. He needs to be out of the spotlight. He's just not built right now for this life. And it's weird because that draft, which was looking like one of the best drafts in a while, at least top of the drafts, you had him and you had Zion.
Yeah.
And Zion's in a controversy of his own, right?
It's funny that you say he's not built for this life. He's built for the thug life.
Yeah, I think he really wants to be built for that thug life. I think he really wants to project, hey, I'm built for this. Y'all are gonna see. Watch this. Look at me being a rat. He's gonna release a Le'Veon Bell style rap LP, and it's gonna go about as well as Le'Veon Bell's rap career did. He makes me sad. But then Zion is also making me sad because he seems like a good country kid that is kind of naive, and that naivete has gotten him in trouble. And it's crazy how he's gotten in trouble because now he gets caught messing around with the porn star group. You haven't been keeping up with this story.
No.
So I'm gonna talk for a little bit while you pull it up. That way you can help me with the details because it's gonna help us because you're gonna be learning about it real time. Hey audience, this is Wes learning about the Zion Williams porn star saga real time. So please watch his facial expressions as he learns right now that Zion Williams is getting extorted by a porn star. And that's probably one of the reasons why the Miami Heat are not trading for Zion Williams right now, because apparently you could get him on value because he misses every single game with injuries. He is now in a controversy that many people would rather have than the John Morant controversy, I guess. But nonetheless, and as I said, I just feel bad for him because it's kind of like he can't win because now he's being extorted by a porn star. Go ahead with the giggles.
There's really not much to it except like she was on Twitter threatening to drop the sex tapes of her and Zion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think she also has a quote saying, "I hope he has money for child support." I think that's also
that.
A quote.
She was saying, "I genuinely loved you, Zion Williamson. All you care about is saving face to the media."
Oh, goodness gracious.
She's threatening to sue him for the damages you have caused my life.
I am so happy that I didn't come up in today's world of social media because that is just it is just wild to me that someone can literally go on social media and then put your whole life on blast, your private life. And granted, he opened himself up to this, but your whole private life on blast in 30 seconds, right?
Yeah. That's...
I feel bad for him more than anything. I do. I feel bad for Zion Williams. I don't have any other thoughts on that except for, gosh, I feel bad for Zion Williams. Like, granted, you put yourself in positions and you gotta be self-aware and be responsible. But I just feel like he's a kid that grew up in the country, didn't play AAU ball, went to Duke, became the superstar on a team where people thought he was like the third best player. He was a YouTube dunker, and that's how we all found out about him. And he makes it to the NBA, and he just wasn't prepared for this life. I don't think anything can prepare you for that life coming from where you came from, and maybe AAU would have helped. You know what couldn't be helped? What? Antonio Brown screwing up another football team. Now, Wes, I'm going to cede the floor to you a little bit on this one because you actually had more information in the production meeting about the Albany Arena League football team. So how bad did he screw the pooch with this football team?
So I believe the Albany Empire. I believe so. The Arena Football League, or whatever it is, the National Arena League. So they won the league championship in 2021 and 2022, and then Antonio Brown's Mr. Bounce Check, his fat ass decided to come in and decided, oh, I can own a football team. Let me just use my millions from NFL. The millions that I should be using to pay for checks and stuff I owe people. Let me use that to buy an Arena League team. So he buys Albany Empire. And then before the season's even over, all the other owners decide to kick his ass out because he's not paying the checks. He's not paying the owner's dues. He's not paying anything. He hasn't been paying his players. What the hell are you doing, dude? And so this team that was promising in an upstart arena league is now kicked out. So all the people who are working for that team, all the players, they don't have a job. Dude, go away.
Does he end up
go
broke?
back to your hole?
Does Antonio Brown end up broke?
Absolutely. He's gonna get garnishments and everything. That dude is so screwed because he doesn't pay a single bill. Everyone's coming after him for money, and eventually he's gonna have to file bankruptcy or whatever, and he's just gonna end up broke and go away. So I'm done feeling sad for him.
But ESPN had a great documentary called Broke that Antonio Brown should have watched about how athletes go broke and how NFL players, one of the ladies that runs a gentleman's club says the NFL players were the worst. They'd spend the most, they drop the most dollars, and it has something to do with being a gladiator and earning money in that sport. And maybe it has something to do with Vontaze perfect hit, or maybe he was just had everyone fooled. Maybe this is who he's been all along. Somebody that skips out on bills, somebody that doesn't pay for the work that's done for him, somebody that's an animal when it comes to women. Yeah, he's an animal when it comes to women. I said it. He's
I mean, we've all
disgusting when
seen
it
the
comes to women.
pool video.
The pool video, the artist where he felt like it was appropriate to walk out with a washcloth covering himself. He's just gross. He's gross. He's a gross person. You don't want to jump to conclusions, but he appears to be just a terrible person. And let's go to another wide receiver now that we've covered the Antonio Brown ground of him losing another asset. Something that could have been an asset for him in the future that he could have sold off and made money, but instead he's going to go broke because he gets kicked out of the league and folds the team. DeAndre Hopkins is still unsigned. And a couple years ago, he was considered the best wide receiver in the NFL, but I'm reading reports that say he can't jump anymore, that he can't get off the ground anymore. And
jump at all, or just like jump as high as he used to?
Like he can't move the way he used to. He can't jump the way he used to. People are saying they think his career is over.
Wow. He's only like, what, 30?
Yeah, I would take him. I'd get a flyer on him. It just depends on how much he's asking for, right?
Yeah.
Granted, that's not what's going to fix the Las Vegas Raiders, because you cannot play a football season. Who are the quarterbacks? You know what? Let's shift to the Raiders, because DeAndre Hopkins is going to be boring. Let's shift to the Raiders really quickly. Just really quickly. Wes, who are the quarterbacks in the AFC West? Would you mind telling me not the Raiders quarterback, because they still don't know who their quarterback is?
Their quarterback is a crippled Jimmy Garoppolo.
It's not, because in his contract, if he can't make it to a certain game, they can cut him with no fees. Remember, they restructured his contract, so if he's hurt and he can't play, that they get to just cut him. So they don't know who their quarterback is in Las Vegas. But Wes, who are the other three quarterbacks?
Well, they have Brian Hoyer and Aiden O'Connell.
Oh, wow. You know, they're going to be great. Favre from Super Troopers looks like a real stud. Can't wait. Everybody's really high on him. Everybody in that Ziegler. I don't know how a lot of these writers got brainwashed by Ziegler and by Josh McDaniels, but I'm not having it. They're terrible at their job. Absolutely. Oh, this guy from Purdue is going to be world. No one heard of him at Purdue, except for you, researching one guy. Like, get out of here with your bullshit. I'm so over that regime. I can't wait till they're gone. But tell me, Wes.
Hey, Favre, the guy, he's going to be the next Brock Purdy, okay?
The next Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
That's a weird pool. So he's going to have one good year and get hurt. Not even a year. 5 games and then get hurt.
Okay, Aiden O'Connell is going to be a monster.
Wesley, answer my question. Who are the other 3 quarterbacks in the AFC West? Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert. I almost flipped you off. 2 of those. 2 of those you like. You love Russell Wilson. You loved. And you love Justin Herbert. You did love him on the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, former.
Yes, and you love Justin Herbert.
That's like saying I love my ex-wife.
And one is the best. It caught me off guard. I was on a roll, and then you. Wow. Okay. Outside of not loving Russell Wilson anymore, because it's like saying you love your ex-wife, the other quarterback is one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. So 2 quarterbacks, one you used to love, one you do love, and one that's the best quarterback in the NFL. Okay, so what would you say would be super key to competing with these people?
Not having a quarterback.
Okay, that's
not what all your money on other players.
I was going to say maybe looking at improving the back 7.
Yes, defense. Good defense. That was the next thing I was going to say.
The back 7, right? So your quarterbacks, your safeties, your linebackers. Guess what the Raiders invested almost $0 in?
The defense.
The back 7. And guess where they got torched all last year?
The back 7. What they need is a good front 4. So they can put those quarterbacks in the ground.
So do you know on average how quickly the modern quarterback gets the ball out of their hand?
Really fast.
Under 3 seconds.
Yeah, so they need fast edge. They need a really fast edge.
Do you know how big the people blocking your edge rushers are?
Really fat.
So you got 6'7", 6'6", 300-pound guys that you got to get by, you got to get past, and they only have to hold you there for 2 to 3 seconds before the quarterback has released the ball. Okay? Like, it's near impossible. Max Crosby is great. hopefully Chandler Jones does something this year. I don't want to hear what I heard coming out of camp, that he is going to be a better mentor. I don't want you to be a better mentor. I want you to be a damn football player that's getting paid millions of dollars to go get a quarterback. All right? But he came out and said, oh, I'm going to be a better mentor. I don't care. No one cares you're going to be a good mentor. Sorry. Awesome. Yay, mentor. But mentor doesn't get to the quarterback. All right? You're already admitting defeat. But they drafted a rookie out of Texas Tech and Wilson. We'll see how that goes. I wasn't high on that pick. I'm still not high on that pick. It, to me, scares me because I think it's going to be a Jadeveon Clowney situation where he's going to be really good at stopping the run. But guess what? They don't really run the ball anymore. It's not a runner. I mean, people run the ball, but it's a passing league, and you're in a passing division, and you have to play, 6 games in that division. 6 games. That means you're playing the best quarterbacks in the NFL 6 times.
11-6 gets you to the playoffs.
They're not going 11-6, Wes. Stop saying they're going 4-13. It's over in Las Vegas. It's over. The season's over before it started.
7-10.
Why? Because of the perceived Patriot way. It's going to be Denver Broncos all over again for Josh McDaniels.
I'm telling you, what's going to happen. It's going to go 7-10, and they're going to keep Josh McDaniels around for another year.
That's not what's going to happen.
He's going to get a 4th year.
Let's move on to...
Was that his first year or his second?
Yes. Last year was his first year. Let's move on to U.S. soccer. So they win the CONCACAF Nations League, right? Against Canada. They showed Mexico that they're still their daddy. Team USA is still their daddy. Sorry, we're going to run the CONCACAF for a while, but that doesn't mean we're going to compete with the world superpowers. And one of the things that's going to stop them from competing with the world superpowers is what Wesley just said. Who's back?
Greg Berhalter.
Worst ever. And the first thing he said is there's a lot of work to do with the Giovanni Reyna relationship. Yeah, you think? You think, Greg? You think there's a lot of work to do with Giovanni Reyna, who was the player of the match, the man of the match against Canada in the Nations League final? It's such an awful hire, and it's going to set Team USA back. My hope is, what year is it, Wes? It's 2023. The World Cup is in 2026. I'm hoping that he's just a placeholder until they can get a real coach and they let Greg Berhalter go. What do you think?
Greg Berhalter is going to lead us to the World Cup.
God, I hate you right now. What are you doing? He's just a bad coach. For some reason, Christian Pulisic really likes him. I don't understand it at all. Turner likes him. I don't understand it at all. But there's hope. There's hope. They just got a good young striker that felt maligned, that was maligned by the England snub, and now he's on Team USA. And hopefully that gentleman can help lead this team, because striker was an area where they needed to improve. They have Team USA had a great midfield with Weston McKennie, with Tyler Adams, with Christian Pulisic, Christian Pulisic and Gio Reyna, but they needed a striker.
Lionel Messi millions of dollars to play for Team USA?
No, that's not how this works.
Just under the table.
Just under the table. Just give him a little slide the check under the table.
You're in Miami now, okay? You're officially a U.S. citizen. Come play for us.
What Team USA that I'm very excited about is the women's team, and they suffered another setback in Becky Sauerbrunn getting hurt, and so she's off the team. She's not going to be on the team. Like last week.
Jesus, why is everyone getting injured?
Everyone is hurt on this team, and
we're still going to win.
The team still looks good to me. It does, because you still got Kelly O'Hara, you still got Emily Fox, you still got Rose Lavelle, who was great in the last World Cup, Julie Ertz, who was great in the last World Cup, is a stud, Crystal Dunn, Lindsay Horan is great, Trinity Rodman, I think, is going to have a breakout season. You got Megan Rapinoe, so you've got a great mix of veteran and youthful players. Can we get Hope Solo
back as a goalie?
You do have some great players coming in, including Alyssa Thompson, who is only 18 years old, but she's been a stud. So I honestly believe that this team can still make a run. Wes, you're on record as saying they're going to win the World Cup again?
Yeah. Yeah.
To do that, Alex Morgan has to be an absolute savage at the front.
That's easy.
She is a savage, huh? You're like, already done. She's already a savage. I do think this team can compete. I do think they're going to make it out of the knockouts, and then I think anything can happen, right? Anything can happen once you're out of the knockout round. I hope they win. I'm so excited to watch them. I'm so excited that I'm in a right time zone to watch them, because you're in a bad time zone for the Women's World Cup in the United States because it's getting played in Australia and New Zealand this year. So it's going to be rough for you to watch the games, but we're going to make you do it. And we're going to make you have better information on
You can't make me
the
do
AFC,
anything. Okay,
on
Dad.
on the AFC West. So when I come to you about your favorite quarterback in Oregon history, or is that Marcus Mariota?
Speaking of Marcus Mariota and Patrick Mahomes, Netflix. Did you see the trailer?
I did not.
So last year they followed Kirk Cousins, Marcus Mariota, and Patrick Mahomes, and they are like during the season, like and like at home. And so they're releasing like a reality show or whatever, like kind of like going through like a life in a quarterback or whatever. Check it out.
Okay. What is Marcus Mariota on it for 8 games? Because that's about how long he lasted in Atlanta.
Well, I don't know how they picked him, but I mean it's kind of interesting because like they did a star quarterback, they did like a veteran quarterback or whatever, and then they kind of did like a journeyman quarterback.
They did a quarterback that people actually want to watch and jammed in 2 other quarterbacks.
Well, they can't follow 3 all-stars in one season because what are you going to do next season?
Well,
yeah, it looks really interesting.
This is what we're going to do in our next season. We're about to enter season 2 as we hit July. Wes, this year has been a blast. It has been so much fun. For some reason, you decided to take our almost 1-year anniversary to regress today a little bit. But you did hit the joke of the year, I think. You definitely hit the joke of the year. And I am so proud of you for that. I'm so proud of our listeners. Thank you so much for sticking with us.
I don't regress.
This has been The Sad Fan. You can reach us at The Sad Fan Cast. You can reach us at The Sad Fan 12. Keep watching. We're getting bigger. We're getting more knowledgeable despite my friend here.
We're getting huge.
Gosh, let's not do that.
Best sports podcast, everyone tells me.
But what we should do is
just
subscribe, rate, and review to
Follow me
The
on
Sad
Twitter
Fan.
at the Donald Trump.
Have a wonderful day.